Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Dr. Glenn Vo. Welcome to another edition of our podcast. And before I, introduce this dental professional, this entrepreneur, this visionary, I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you this question. Have you ever been to a CE event and you're like, man, I wish I could go to a CE event in like a really cool location, right? A destination location, right? Something that checks off the box, like somewhere you've never been to, something that has some adventure. And then while you're doing all that, you get CE credits. Well, I'm really happy to tell you there's something that's new, and I'm pretty sure you've never done this before. It's called Safari and Smiles, and I am super happy to have my friend Maurice Mugo. He's the founder of Safari and Smiles on the podcast. Maurice, what's up, man?
What's up, Doc? How are you doing today?
Man, I am doing great. I'm doing even better because you're here today. But before we get into it, I learned about Safari and Smiles because one of my friends went on it, Elijah Desmond. He took all these major pictures, and I was thinking to myself, man, I wish I was there. But before we talk about that, there's always a story, right? There's always a beginning to everything. So Maurice, tell me about your background, right? Your background in dentistry, what your day job is. And then after that, what got you motivated to do something like Safari and Smile? So let's talk about your background.
So, Doc, first let me say thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I'm a big fan of your podcast. I love the interviews you do. I love your book and everything you've done. So I'm really, really honored to be here today talking to you. So I grew up in Kenya. I grew up in eastern Kenya in a very small village. It's called Meru at the slopes of Mount Kenya. And my grandfather was a game warden for close to 3 decades. And so my family has been in conservation for a really long time. And I've always loved animals. But I had never, ever been to the dentist all my life until I was like 12, 13 years old. When I went to the dentist and he made me numb. He was about to do an extraction and I ran through the door. I ran out. So we later became friends with this dentist after I went back, and I started volunteering to help interpret when there was a mission trip coming to Kenya, like dental stuff and medical. I would go and volunteer to interpret because I speak 4 native languages in Kenya. Wow. So I would interpret to the patient and I said, this looks kind of cool. But I didn't know how to really get in and do dentistry until I came to the US in 2013. But deep inside me, I still had my love for animals and safaris and all that kind of stuff. So when I got here, I went to dental hygiene school in Pennsylvania, in Erie, Pennsylvania. And after I was done with the dental hygiene school, that's when I moved back to the Washington, D.C. area where I currently practice. I've been practicing as a dental hygienist for close to 4 years now. And I work with dentalware in a practice in Northern Virginia. Yeah, so out of that, I still felt like something is missing because I would talk to all these people, all the patients, because you have to build rapport with your patients, especially the nervous patient. They say, oh, you're from Africa, have you ever seen a lion? I would tell them, yeah, I've always seen lions, elephants, and all that. And I actually managed to send a few people to safari in Africa, but small groups of people, including patients. I would guide them on how they can do a safe safari. And I thought, okay, maybe I can help my colleagues do the same and also touch other people's lives when doing that over there. So that's when the idea of Safari and Smile started coming to my mind.
I love it. I love that story. I also love the story about the first time you were at the dentist and you just ran out of there. It's stories like that, though. It's stories like that. Again, we have so many people that are watching this and listening to this that probably relate, right? They remember why they got into dentistry. And a lot of times it's, for me, the reason why I became a dentist is because I was actually really scared. I had some bad experiences. And I remember telling myself that, man, when I have a patient, I'm going to understand where they're coming from and will really take care of them. So the fact that you went through that experience, whenever a patient's scared, I'm sure you could just tell them, hey, look, When I was in your shoes before, when I first visited, I ran out the door. Have you ever told that story to
Absolutely,
people?
yes. Yes.
So, so again, but you always had this love, right? You always have this love of
Yes.
sharing your culture. And that's what I really love about Safari Smiles. Look, it's one thing to go somewhere like a destination, right? Like somewhere nice and
Yes.
whatnot. It's another thing to where the person who's organizing, they have a genuine love that where they want to share. Was that kind of your motivation too, to kind of share your culture with other dental professionals and show them like what Kenya is all in Africa is all about?
That was part of it. And another thing that was really a strong motivator for me, Kenya is a third world country, and I grew up as an orphan most part of my life. And I remember I got a lot of help from lots of people. And one person that particularly stands out to me even today, there was a lady, I think she was from California, her name was Erica, and she would come with a church to our village almost every Christmas without fail. She
Wow.
would send us soccer balls. So we would play that soccer ball until it turned out to be almost nothing. Because we would play soccer in the villages. Like we would make a soccer out of plastic bags, out of anything we
Mhm.
could find. So when we got a leather soccer ball, that was like the best Christmas for
Wow.
me. So I thought, okay, maybe the people back there, we could give back to them
Yeah.
by going back, giving them. And I also wanted people in this country to really know how blessed they are. Because I say sometimes we tend to take a lot of things for granted, but when you go to another country and see how people live, but they are still so happy, they don't have much, they help each other out, they are really, really appreciative of the little things. So it's not uncommon after safari for someone to come back and say, man, my life is changed.
Uh,
Because
Wow.
I wanted them to really also appreciate that they have so many opportunities, they have so much. I just wanted them to have that gratitude. And most of people come back feeling that their life is changed. They didn't know other people live like that. So that was kind of thing for me also. So it's a win-win situation where the people back at home experience that kind of help. Let's say we donate some books, some pens, some money. We change a kid's life, but
Yeah.
also the person giving, they come back and they see they're changed person. They feel much better. They feel appreciative. When you get stuck in snow for 5 hours, like I was done this morning, you don't think it's the end of the world. It's just a part of the small. It's a small inconvenience.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Yes.
I love the mission. I love the mission of, sharing the culture, but also giving back to your community. I love that. And I want to talk about before we get into, what kind of like what are some of the things that people who go on the safari, what they can expect, right? Before we talk about that, I want to
Yeah.
ask you this question. Obviously, something like organizing a safari takes a lot of time and effort. How long did it take you for you to, from the start of that dream, when you were sitting and thinking, I think I want to do this, to actually doing your first one not too long ago? How much time and effort did you put in there? And did you ever face any times where you thought, I don't know if I can do this, and I'm not sure if this can happen? Did you ever have any doubt at all?
That's a great question. So it's been a lot of work. So this
Mhm.
idea actually, the time I decided to actualize it is during COVID. I was at home and there was no job. As you remember, most dental offices were
Yeah.
closed. And that was time
You
when,
had a lot of time to think.
yeah, so I had a lot of time to think, and then it was time to start implementing. And I just want to thank the dental community, especially Desmond. He played a big role in helping me to plan up the whole thing because I could not have done it all by myself. I got
Yeah.
ton of help, ton of support. Lots of people are very, very supportive when I expressed my idea to them. So I just want to express that gratitude to them. They made it possible because I have a full-time job. I have two under two. I have two little boys, two under two, and so the implementation was actually very challenging because it was during the COVID, because of changing protocols. So I had to keep up checking what has changed, what has changed. So the people that made it possible is the people that really signed up and said, you know what, we're gonna risk it all, we're gonna go with you. So it was not easy to plan, but we made it happen with the help of a lot of people.
Well, I'll tell you what, first of all, that is inspirational in itself, right? Because again, it's
Thank you.
so hard to just do an event, right? Just do a
Yes,
dental event. I can only
yes.
imagine doing an event overseas. But you didn't do just any event. You did a safari and you had a whole bunch of people come over, but you not only had a great event, an event that really changed lives, but you kept everyone safe. And that's a big thing as well. So talk about safari as well. Talk about this first group, the inaugural group that went through, the group where I saw all the great pictures. I saw hot air balloons. I saw all these animals. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to sign up for the next one. But talk about like, what can someone expect when they go on a Safari and Smiles event? Describe it.
So number one is a lot of fun. So expect to have ton of fans. There's a lot of opportunities where we end to network with like-minded individuals. Lots of people are dentists and hygienists, and some brought their families. And from what I observed, these people have become almost one family now. There's
Yeah.
lots of people that have become almost permanent friends. When you experience something like that with other people, you create this bond that is almost unbreakable. You become almost like family. So one of the things that I always tell people is to be prepared to be blown away. Because from my experience, everything a lot of people know about Africa, unless you've been there and really experienced it, is nothing like you can watch on YouTube. You can watch a lot of YouTube, you can see a lot of videos, but when you get there in person, it's a different feeling when you're
Yeah.
just sitting in a gym and there's a lion, like just wild lion, not the one in the zoo. It's like 2 feet away from you. I remember when we went to do the hot air balloon in the morning, it's like 4 a.m. in the morning. We just drove past lions like half a mile, like a bunch of lions trying to hunt. And then we go like maybe half a mile. And then the jeep driver said, okay, everybody has to get out because we have to get on a boat and cross a river that has some crocodiles sometimes to get to the site for the hot air balloon. Of course, we had the guns with us and everybody. So lots of people, for them, that's our different experience, kind of a risk. And also visiting an orphanage. We went to a girls' orphanage. It's an orphanage for abused girls, and it's very heartbreaking. And some of them are also orphans. They come from poor families and all that. So there's the actual safari part where we have fun, we are singing, we are dancing, and then we also, when you go see these kids and you see how happy they are dancing and singing, it gives you a whole different perspective of life.
Yeah.
That whatever happens to us in life, we have the option to react in a certain way. It's not what happens to us, it's our reaction to it. So when you see these 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 year olds just dancing and singing and carefree, and then this kind of kids, sometimes they go for 3 days without even food before they
Mhm.
were rescued. You can't even see it in their faces. It makes us rethink our lives
Yeah.
in a specific way. It just makes you want to be a better human being. And then, of course, there's the part about the CE classes. It's different to sit in your home office and take a CE class. It's always a little challenging. But when you can look outside the window and see giraffes walking around and waterbucks and gazelles and zebras, and you're just here taking a class, it's just kind of different feeling. It's just truly, truly amazing.
I love it. I love it. I mean, again, after you told me that, after I saw the picture, I want to sign up right away. And again, how
Thank
long?
you.
How long was the safari? How long are the safaris going to be? These trips? How many days is it?
So the first safari was allowed, I think it was 9 days,
Mhm.
but 9 days considering travel, because the travel to Kenya takes much more time. If you fly through Europe, you want to count like 2 extra days just for flight. So the actual safari was 7 days, moving from one park to another. There's a lot of intercountry travel. At one point, you have to take a plane from like a local flight to go from when we transition from the safari to the coastal part of Kenya to enjoy the ocean, the beach, and all that. So it's like 7 days for the safari, but the actual traveling time is 9 days. So the next safari is going to be 10 days because we don't want it to feel rushed.
Yeah, and so again, that's going to be my next question here. So obviously, for people who are watching right now, listening right now, they're probably thinking, okay, I want to sign up. I want to know what it entails. So you already kind of gave a sneak peek there. You said it's the next safari is about 10 days, but talk about that. When is the next safari? Where when is the next safari? Where can people sign up? And yeah, just give us the details there.
So the next safari is from June 1st. And the official safari starts on 2nd. So by 1st, somebody needs to be in Kenya. And this is in June 2022. It's coming up pretty soon. And we're going to be there up to June 13th.
Okay.
So that's the next safari. It's going to be much, much more exciting than the first one. Because first on this safari, on 4th, this safari, we're taking it to my hometown, like village where I grew up. It's a very, very beautiful slopes of Mount Kenya along the equator. The weather is always fantastic. But the biggest catch for me on this safari is we're going to be supporting a children's orphanage that supported me a lot because I grew up as an orphan. This orphanage, when I went to the university, they gave me the fees to be able to attend the university in Kenya. So I know the kids, they have like 200 kids, and most of them have really never even been to the dentist. So we're going to be dedicating 4th of June, a Saturday, full day, just their cleaning teeth, doing extractions, and we're going to have other medical people. This safari is open to nurses as well and other medical professionals because we want to teach them basic things like first aid. It's not uncommon for a child in the village to die of choking because they don't know what to do after that. So that's one of the major things I'm really excited about the next safari is the giving back to the community. And then from our hometown in Meru, we're going to be going to the only sanctuary in the world that has the last 2 living white rhinos.
Wow.
Yeah, that's in eastern Kenya. They have the only last 2 living white rhinos. One is called Sudan. I don't remember the name of the other one, but it's the biggest rhino sanctuary in the world. So I'm excited about that as well because conservation is a big part of me growing up with a grandfather who was a game warden for almost 3 decades.
Yeah. That is, I'm excited. I'm going to have to look into that too. But again, this next safari is going to be amazing. I mean, if you saw the pictures, and guys, you can go to their Facebook page and look at some of the pictures. Hey, look at the video that we made for them, right? You can see some of the pictures. But again, I'm excited about this next one because it's going back to Maurice's home village, but also being a chance to serve, right? It's one thing to go on a trip and learn, but be able to serve. That's the reason why we got into this profession, right? To help people out. What better way than to help out this community that really needs that help, that really needs what we offer. Maurice, this is, gosh, I'm so excited. I can't wait to see more pictures, and I want to see if I can make it myself. And guys, I want you guys to really reach out to see if you can make it yourselves as well. But before we log off here, Maurice, any last words to the community and to all our listeners on the podcast before we log off here?
Yes, so Dr. Gren, I'm going to say thank you so much to you and other people in the industry that are doing what you guys are doing, bringing exposure to other people that are trying to do their own thing. And I especially like to thank you for starting the group that is for side gigs, Escape 9 to 5. I feel like a lot of people outside of dentistry, especially now with COVID, also looking for alternative ways to supplement their income and support their families. So that is a great group for people to join. I encourage people to go check out that group. Since I started Safari and Smiles, I've gotten tons of tips from like-minded individuals who are in that group. Also, I like to encourage people to travel and to read. When you travel, when you read, it changes you in a big way. So one of the things I like to encourage people to do is also to be supportive of other people. So when people like Glenn spares his time to do this interview for me, I can only imagine how incredibly busy you must be. So now I feel so indebted to touch somebody's hand and bring them up, lift them up. So when you give it to me, I also want to pass it to somebody else and create a chain reaction where we are lifting each other. I also encourage people to check out Nifty Thrifty Dentist Group, because we're gonna post this interview there, and there's ton of awesome people in that group, not just for encouragement, but also to empower you when you feel like you're low or you feel like you have a question. That's a great group for people to check out.
Maurice, thank you so much. I don't know if I can say anything else. He pretty much said everything there. But guys, I want you to check it out. Check out what Maurice has worked so hard for. And again, you know, if you want to go and get CE, you can always get CE credits anywhere. You can get it online. You can go to any event. But if you want something that not only where you're going to have your life changed, but you can change someone else's life, I want you to consider Safari and Smiles. Maurice, thank you so much, my friend, for jumping on. And everyone watching and listening, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.
All right. Thank you, Greg. Thank you so much.